The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past. And the only person better you should be, this is who you are now. A joke makes it possible to satisfy a lustful or hostile instinct despite an obstacle in its path. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. Who lacks sex speaks about sex, hungry talks about food, a person who has no money, about money, and our oligarchs and bankers talk about morality. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. People in general are insincere in sexual matters. They do not openly display their sexuality, but rather hide it by putting on a tight coat zoned from a matter called lie, as if it were bad weather in the world of sexual relations. A father's death is the most important and the most heartbreaking and poignant loss in a man's life. People are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine. A man is sometimes more generous when he has little money than when he has much, perhaps to keep from thinking he has none at all. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. Without love, we fall ill. We are so made that we can only derive intense enjoyment from a contrast, and only very little from a state of things. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. The secret of the human soul lies in the psychic dramas of childhood. Get to the bottom of these dramas, and healing will come. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Envy is destructive. Don't be tempted by it. Live by your own rules. Happiness is a child's dream fulfilled in maturity. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. Friendship is an art of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. A husband is almost always only a substitute for the beloved man, and not this man himself. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. The only shame in masturbation is the shame of not doing it well. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. You do not stop looking for strength and confidence outside, but you should look inside yourself. They have always been there. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. Depression is a frozen fear. A woman will never want sex with a man who doesn't get her hints. Thought is action in rehearsal. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. Hate-purified love exists only between the addict and the drug. No flies fly to a boiling pot. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love, and never so helplessly unhappy as when we lose the object of love or his love. We seek more to take suffering away from ourselves than to gain pleasure. Limitation in the possibility of enjoyment raises the value of the enjoyment. Only the complete absence of sex can be considered a sexual deviation. Everything else is a matter of taste. There is no need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. The more perfect the person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. One day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful, the most important part of your life. At a woman's breast, love and hunger are crossed. When people marry, they no longer live for each other as they did before. They live with each other for someone third, and dangerous rivals soon appear for the husband, the household, and the nursery. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. Every normal person is really only partly normal. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Religion is a universal compulsive neurosis. No mortal is capable of keeping a secret. If his lips are silent, his fingertips speak. Betrayal oozes from him through every pore. We enter the world with loneliness and lonely leave it. All adaptation is partial death, the disappearance of a particle of individuality, perfect, eternal. The first indication of stupidity is a complete lack of shame. Everyone owes nature and death. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. History is just new people making old mistakes. We adults don't understand children because we don't understand our own childhood anymore. The scope of one's personality is defined by the magnitude of that problem which is capable of driving a person out of his wits. When one does not have what one wants, one must want what one has. We do not randomly choose each other. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. The voice of the intellect is quiet, but it never tires of repeating, and listeners are found. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. In the small matters, trust the mind. In the large ones, trust the heart. Masturbation is one of the primary abodes, the primary addiction. Subsequent addictions like alcohol, tobacco, morphine are only its substitutes. A busy man is seldom visited by idle friends. Avoid women who talk a lot about sex because often they have gotten a psychological breakdown from the lack of it. All people are born bisexual and later choose their sexual orientation depending on their life circumstances. Time spent with cats is never wasted. The energetic and successful man is the one who succeeds in transforming the fantasies of desire into reality. Maturity is the ability to postpone gratification. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, just surrounded by idiots. The best is always the enemy of the good.